wird Ihnen präsentiert von Audience on Demand aus dem Hause Viva-Key. Mehr auf audienceondemand.de.
Morning, everybody. LiveRail, the rumors we are actually just been acquired by Deutsche Bahn are incorrect. So we are a company focused on online video advertising. Our video platform today is used globally. Company is 6 years old. Just a few quick facts. Based in the US, we actually entered the European markets early last year. We believe that actually in the US, we power today about 25% of the video advertising in the market, and we serve overall globally about 5 billion ads a month. We are 100% focused on publishers, and therefore my short keynote today will focus really on the publisher side and tools that we feel are important for publishers for video monetization in general, but specifically for programmatic video. So as I mentioned, we've been here since last year, and actually Adtrader in 2013 was the first conference I attended since moving to Europe. And to be honest, I feel some of the sentiments I got from the conference last year, I kind of felt, well, maybe I should call my boss and tell him that going into Europe was not a very good idea. I think some of the discussions there were not very bullish about programmatic altogether. But the good news, I think what we've seen over the last year is the adoption of programmatic for video has been tremendous. We've seen many publishers also on the premium side actually adopting this. Naturally, we've seen some more early markets like Holland, UK, France being in the forefront, but also when we specifically talk about the German market, and over the last 6 months, we see definitely a shift in the attitude towards programmatic video, which is very exciting. So I wanted to convey a few key points through my keynote today, and to do that, I will share some stats from a survey we've been running in Q4 2013, so over November and December. And this is just a profile of who participated in that survey. So the different stakeholders from about 100 publishers globally. You can see the split between most of them from the US and Europe. And also in terms of the profile of the publishers, it went all the way from broadcasters to aggregators of video inventory to video publishers. So the 3 themes I wanted to talk about, one is mobile video, and this will not necessarily pertain only to programmatic. The other aspect is specifically programmatic video and some of the things that we feel are key for publishers to bear in mind when they enter that space. And lastly, talk a bit about measurement and specifically the intersection between TV and online video. So talking about mobile video, we feel that the stakes are really high. Actually, and this is a trend we see both in the US and in Europe, is actually mobile video and programmatic for mobile video is actually growing extremely fast. Overall, we have to assume, based also on feedback we're getting, that it stems naturally from the way people are consuming video is changing. But also I think when you talk to publishers with high quality video content, they have been doing for some years a very good job in actually monetizing their desktop video. But when it comes to mobile video, we still feel there are some struggles and actually some challenges. In terms of the stats, you cannot really argue that a lot of the video is being consumed on mobile devices, and this is just a trend that will increase. So both in terms of how tablet sales are outpacing PC sales, and as I mentioned before, I think for Microsoft, I'm not sure these are great news. And also, if you look specifically at tablets and how much people are spending time on their tablets, and I think it's also demonstrating the people moving away from actually watching linear TV as they are used to doing so. So I think one of the things we ask clients, so are we really there yet in terms of the availability of your content on mobile devices and in apps? Do you feel you're there? And we actually see that for publishers that don't feel they're already there, they're definitely confident that they will get there. So everybody is recognizing today the fact that they have to offer their content, if it's available on desktop, even if it's available on TV, also on mobile devices, to really make sure that they're utilizing the potential of video content. And looking at what a few of our clients actually said, and we publish a white paper that is aggregating some of the feedback from clients about mobile video. So there's a few key things. One thing is the focus. And I think this is from the Telegraaf in the Netherlands. And for them, the key thing with mobile is to make sure that the way people are consuming it, the experience on the mobile application is different than it is in desktop. So naturally, exploring content on mobile is much more limited. It's also not as good of a fit to the way users are actually looking to consume content. So you have to be much more selective about what you're offering people in terms of mobile video when it's inside an app. And then Machinima, which is a US publisher with a very large presence on YouTube. For them, it's mostly about planning. So understanding that the way that your inventory will look, the way that you will need to monetize it will change dramatically once your content is moving to mobile. So you cannot just continue and run your sales strategy, educate your salespeople, and sell the same products for advertising once you've decided you have a mobile strategy. So I think the next thing, if we talk a bit about the people that are not there yet, so our publishers that we've been talking to, or just generally publishers in the market that have not yet deployed mobile video content in their apps, what are the main one of the main barriers? And of course, the development aspect is really key. I feel still, especially in Europe, a lot of the development of mobile application is being outsourced. It's not done by publishers. In many cases, for very good reasons, they actually didn't invest in bringing these capabilities in-house, and especially if they look at it as something that is a one-off. It's something that we'll develop, we release, and it's actually not worthwhile our efforts to go and hire people to do it internally. So for them, the actual issue of resources is really key. The development lifecycle tends to be an issue because you decide that you want to make your content available. By the time you get scale in terms of distribution, a long time can actually pass. So it means that it requires a lot of planning. And then, of course, there's integration, and HLS HLS, at least in the US, is becoming a huge topic. It's a technical term for HTTP live streaming. It's the ability to really deliver high quality and a great experience for users when they consume video on mobile. And we see, especially in the US market, not so much in Europe for now, is actually publishers are choosing HLS as the standard to deliver video content to their consumers, and they want to make sure that for advertising to have the same quality, that it will support this standard as well. So this is a big topic that we see when it comes to mobile. So just in terms of summing up, when you look at the advertising aspects of mobile video, what is really critical? So first thing, the unified platform. I think everybody's pretty much on board with that, and I think when we look at what people did with display for mobile, they want to make sure that they have one strategy, but if you can really have one platform to manage everything, it just creates a lot of scale and a lot of efficiency. The demand ecosystem for mobile video, and especially when we look at programmatic mobile video, for now tends to be different. So the fact that you've been successful or you have a platform that gives you access to a lot of buyers that are buying display advertising programmatically will not necessarily guarantee it will allow you to tap into mobile video demand. It just, for now at least, it tends to be a different set of players, and you want to make sure that when you choose an ad platform, it's actually providing you this broad access. And the last thing, of course, is audiences. We know that this is one of the key issues with mobile, is the fact that the measurements, the tool you've been using are actually not necessarily going to apply. We know the obstacle with regards to cookies on mobile devices, but audience and video naturally goes together like it does on desktop and on TV, and therefore we must not neglect the ability to give advertisers some tools to understand what audience they will actually reach on mobile devices. So let's talk a bit just about programmatic, and again, bear in mind, I will definitely take the publisher side here in the focus, because this is at LiveRail what we're really trying to do. So first thing, it's not really display. So no, it's not the internet in 1950. Programmatic video is really, really different than programmatic display. And this is for some key reasons, and I've definitely tried to focus here more on the commercial aspect. So the set of buyers is much smaller. I think in the programmatic display ecosystem today, you have hundreds of buyers that are active, and hundreds of players can actually drive demand. With video, for now, it's still a much smaller set of buyers. We are connected today to about 120 buyers. And even over there, we definitely see the 80-20 rule. We definitely have just about 20% of the buyers that are driving 80% of the spend. So you don't need to be worried about actually being connected to as many players. The buyer's criteria towards actually clearing inventory is very different. Naturally, it's not as much of a performance game. It's more of a branding game. The quality of the inventory, the environment is much more important for video. We feel there's greater price tolerance. It sounds like somebody is overpaying. That's not really the case. But we actually see that how much you can actually get from a buyer for high-quality video inventory is pretty big, and the differences between one price point and the other does not tend to be in the fraction of a US cent, but actually can be in dollars and in full euros. We also see less variance between direct sold and programmatic. We are seeing it month in and month out that actually our clients are achieving with programmatic video, in some cases, CPMs that are exceeding what they get on the direct sold. It's just not uncommon at all, of course, especially if you have quality inventory. And overall, the tech stack and the standards are different. So as much as we would love our industry to be much more efficient and much more scalable, unfortunately, from a technology perspective, video requires something completely different. You're not directly on the page. You have to integrate with video players. The standards in the market are different. So altogether, you're probably looking at embracing a whole different set of technologies when you're looking at video. So let's talk a bit about the publisher perspective. And I wanted to give a kind of a short video that will try and convey the sentiment of what we feel publishers are actually feeling when they think about programmatic. So if you're concerned about animal cruelty, I just want to make sure that you know that the hare is actually outrunning the lurches, so nothing bad happens here. But really, I think the hare and the Tyrone, that's what people usually feel when they think about programmatic. You know, we have a set of buyers that really threaten us with a lot of money, and unless we're going to play with them, it's going to end up really, really bad. So we really need to run away as fast as we can. But I think the reality is really, you know, this is what our publishers are thinking. They really automatically think our pricing will go down, our CPM will go down the drain, and it's really a bad deal for us altogether. And naturally, there are some other things, but really it comes down to price. Price in programmatic, and programmatic video is not going to do any of us a favor. So I'm probably using animals way too much in this presentation, but you know, the question is really, what people are asking, is everybody doing it? Like, if I'm going to do programmatic video, am I going to be the only one? Am I going to kind of stand out, or is really everybody's doing it, just nobody's talking about it? So I think the reality is more and more everybody actually is doing it, and in different flavors. And naturally, it will depend on the type of content you have, on your position in the market. But to put things on the table, even I think in this market in Germany, which was a bit slower to adopt programmatic, I think even with programmatic video, we feel that increasingly, and you know, my estimation is by the end of the year, is that actually most people will be doing it. Now, so there are concerns, and let me try and explain a bit how we are helping people address this concern. So, you know, the first thing with programmatic video, you don't have to work with everybody. And one of the things we make sure that we show people when they actually come and work with us is you can control who it is you work with. By plugging in a solution for programmatic video using LiveRail, it doesn't mean you have to expose your inventory to everybody out there. And the set of controls is really what should make people comfortable that they're actually in the driving seat and that they actually have a fair chance of commanding CPMs that will either compete with the direct sold or will not compromise their current inventory quality. And of course, one of the things that are important to mention is that you don't have to make programmatic compete with your direct sales force. It's really only if you want to. So this is a key thing for us, and always been a key thing, is to really give publishers a feeling that they're in the driving seat in terms of who gets to see their inventory, what do they get to see, and in what level of priority. And of course, floor prices that are very common in display are even more critical, in our opinion, in video, because again, as I mentioned, the price tolerance we feel is not as big as it has been with display advertising. What other things can we really help you with? So unwanted buyers. So I want to do programmatic, but there's definitely a set of buyers that I don't want to work with. And one of the things we want to make publishers comfortable with, or the sales houses here, is actually that, you can choose who you work with. And it's been kind of a known fact that sometimes when you choose partners to work with on a non-guaranteed basis, you don't really know who they're shaking hands with behind your back. So the directness of programmatic is really key when we're talking about video. And again here, one of the important things for us was to demonstrate publishers they can control down to the advertiser level who they work with. It's really to make each publisher feel that they choose their clients in the exact same ways they do when they actually work with their using direct sales. It's going to have the exact same effect, and you're going to have the exact same experience. And one of the tools that help you do that is actually sitting and classifying each and every creative and understanding who is coming from. So you're actually not allowing anybody in on your site unless you have opted in to do so. Last thing I wanted to talk quickly about is measurement. So I think this market has AGOF as one of the key metrics that I think are used in TV and for branding. And but what we've seen in the US and some other markets is actually the question whether adopting the same measurement standards as we do for TV, well, is that actually going to help us or is going to hurt us? So one of the questions we ask people is, do you really feel that unifying the measurement for online video advertising and for TV will help us? Will it overall actually help us increase spend? And I think the unanimous kind of feel is that, yeah, overall, I think that's a good thing. So one of the things we've been doing in some of the markets where Nielsen is active is actually to help publishers deliver against the exact same measurements that we use in TV. So if you're familiar with the Nielsen OCR tool, it's actually using Facebook data to help publishers deliver inventory against the exact same segments that the brands are looking to target on their TV advertising. And I do hope that in this market, at some point, something similar will be adopted, if not already, because we have seen it actually help the brand confidence and therefore the agency's confidence in spending money online with video. So last two thoughts that actually just, from my own perspective on things that are important. Clean your act. So, there have been some talks already about viewability. We know that in many cases, online video inventory is plagued by fraudulent or robotic traffic. Bear in mind, if you're a publisher, the buyers are very attentive to that, and we see buyers are adopting better and better tools, and we're actually helping bringing these tools to the market to make sure that fraudulent traffic is not going to be part of our game. And that's really, really important. The next thing is innovation. So programmatic doesn't really mean just take a set of tools that everybody is using, throwing it in the market, and hoping you'll do very well. You'll need to do a bit more than that in order to differentiate it. So to differentiate yourself, it doesn't mean just take the standard programmatic tool. It's how you apply data. It's how you combine data with your inventory. It's what type of a consumer experience you can provide. So these rules of actually continuing to innovate in order to succeed in programmatic, they still sustain. And we would recommend everybody to still keep it in mind in order to be successful when looking at programmatic video. Thank you very much.